think I can do that right here? Nope.
Because of patriotism. All right, nice to see you.
You're going to I told them to fly, but the students were going to.
I'm here today to show the administration that we cannot be silenced, that we recognize the dignity of all those in our community and of people around the world. People must not be snatched from their schools, their jobs, and their families to makeshift prisons in the Everglades or in Louisiana or in Burlington. I'm here for the dignity of Palestinians, too.
She couldn't be here with us today, but she wants us to know that she stands with us here on the Lexington Battle Green, where we, the people, first declared that we would live in a nation of laws and not kings. She sends us this statement. Massachusetts knows a thing or two about kings. We've known since 1773 when Boston threw tea in the harbor. As much as Trump wants to put on a little shiny crown and pretend he's an absolute monarch, Donald Trump is not a king. And peacefully standing up for what we believe in is a deeply patriotic way to support our democracy. Standing up to a wannabe dictator is patriotic. Protecting health care for millions of people is patriotic. Saying no to troops occupying our cities is patriotic. To every patriot who showed up today, thank you. Stay strong, hold on to hope. This fight will be long, but we will persist. And we will not bow down. No king.
Thank you, Toby. Thanks to all of you for coming out here today, because we are here at the birthplace of democracy. It started right here 250 years ago. And it is good to be here because this is a moment. It is a moment that demands truth. It demands truth about corruption, truth about greed, truth about injustice, about hate, about the top 1% of America holding 35% of our nation's total wealth. CEOs paid 290 times more than the average American worker. In just 3 weeks, Donald Trump's sons and family raked in $1.3 billion from a crypto company that only opened when Trump took office. CEOs have become chief extraction officers. The United States Supreme Court has given a green light to racial profiling, greed, corruption, injustice, hate. We simply cannot deny the darkness of this moment and the concentration of power in Donald Trump, in masked ICE agents and in billionaire CEOs. Too much is in the hands of too few, and too many have too little in our country today. But here in Lexington, here in Massachusetts, we do not bow to kings. We do not bend. We do not bend to authoritarianism. We don't believe in dictators. The nation we have loyalty to is the United States of America. And Donald Trump is a walking, talking constitutional crisis every day that he is allowed to be in the White House. Massachusetts is where the moral debates of our time start. We are where democracy was founded, right here, 250 years ago. The abolitionist movement, right here. The suffragette movement, right here. The same-sex marriage movement, right here. The universal health care movement, they all started here in Massachusetts. Massachusetts has always been on the front lines of democracy. And that's why Donald Trump has declared war on us, on Massachusetts, our economy, our workers, our schools, our way of life. Medicaid, gone. NIH funding, gone. Department of Education, gone. Due process and the rule of law, gone. The only thing that should be gone is Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and his ban on vaccines. Donald Trump does not want to make America great again. He wants to make America hate again. That is his idea of where our country should be going. But I believe that in every dark and chaotic hour of our nation's life, it is the strength and the resilience of our people that have led the way. When those Minutemen and women decided to take on the most powerful army in the history of the world, right here in Lexington and Concord, were they knocked down? Yes. Were they knocked out? No. They got up, they fought, and they won. When the abolitionists were knocked down, did they give up? No. They got up, they fought, they won. When the suffragettes were knocked down, did they give up? No. They got up, they fought, they won. When Martin Luther King Jr. and the Civil Rights Movement got knocked down, did they give up? No. They got up, they fought, they won. When Harvard and MIT were knocked down, did they give up? No, they got up, they fought, and they're going to win. And that's where we are today. We are knocked down, but we are not knocked out. We are going to stand up and we are going to win. And thank you for coming out today, because here in Massachusetts, we stand for what is right. We stand with trans rights and trans people because they are human rights. We stand with our educators, with our teachers, with our paraprofessionals in schools. We need more educational pipelines, not gas pipelines in Massachusetts. We stand with all of our federal workers who are being illegally fired. The only federal government employees that should be fired are the ones working in the White House. We stand with our immigrant neighbors here to make a better life. We say no to family separation. We say no to mass deportations of innocent people. No to mass ICE agents abducting our neighbors off of our streets. We will not stand for an occupied Massachusetts by Donald Trump. So here in Massachusetts, we do not coronate. We liberate. We don't agonize, we organize. And that's what's going on here today. So I'm here to ask every single person, are we going to fight for the future of our democracy? Trump wants to scare us into submission, but when he rolls back our rights, we roll up our sleeves. Are we going to fight? Are we going to fight the corruption and the lawlessness, the illegitimate Supreme Court, the tax-dodging corporations, impeach Supreme Court justices who break the law, subpoena and prosecute administration officials so that it's the rule of law and not the rule of Trump? That is what we're going to stand up for. That is what we're going to fight for. It all began here on the Lexington Green 250 years ago. And we are going to continue to stand up and to fight for democracy, fight for freedom, and fight to make sure that we do not have a king in the White House. We do not have a dictator telling us what to do. Thank you, Lexington. Thank you for being up and once again leading our nation. Thank you all so much.
Ways to participate. We all stand on the shoulders of bold women and girls who went before us. Woo! You can meet some of them today in the historic new monument we unveiled 1 year ago right outside the Visitor Center. It is the nation's first monument to recognize women's liberty. Sculptor Meredith Bergman brought more than 20 women across time into life through bronze across more than 300 years of history, including recognizing 12,000 years of women's stories for the women who were indigenous and here before us and displaced by colonizers. It's an incredible work of art. I'm introducing you to 4 of those women briefly because those women, like us, stood and fought for democracy in any way they could. They got off their proverbial couch, or if they couldn't, they found another way. Margaret Tulip was a Black woman who lived here for 70 years. In the 1700s, she was taken from her mother when she was 3 weeks old and enslaved. She was property. She ultimately came to Lexington through the family that enslaved her. She was to be free at age 22. We don't know exactly what happened. She eventually was married, she had children, she had grandchildren, but one day the man who enslaved her died and his son claimed Margaret was her property. She was my age, in her 50s. She took him to court and she won her freedom in a jury trial. For her, the question of liberty was personal, as it is for many of us, especially women today. Anna Harrington, represented here today by Amy, Anna Harrington organized the first known Lexington protest against tyranny in 1769, more than 5 years before the famous battle that took place where you're all standing. Anna Harrington was 29 years old, the mother of 5 children. One had already died. She hosted 45, quote, ladies at her home to protest unjust tariffs and the tyranny of a king. Does that sound familiar? At this time, women couldn't vote. They couldn't serve in the military. They couldn't be clergy members. But they found a way to protest and change the course of our lives. Ruth Buckman helped run the tavern there. She took care of men who were injured or died on the green. Abigail Harrington, on the morning of April 19th, woke up her son Jonathan when she heard the alarm. She said, Jonathan, Jonathan, the regulars are out and something must be done. She protected their home, their valuables, their children, much as other women in the community protected the church silver, the valuables, those who were sick or infirm and couldn't hide. Abigail's son, Jonathan, served right here as a teenager. He lived longer than any other man on the green that day. He was asked over and over to tell his story about how he made history, his. And he always started it with his mother, Abigail, who he called a true patriot. These stories were known in Lexington for hundreds of years. In fact, this banner in front of me being held by Katie, who's playing Caroline Wellington today. Caroline Wellington had 3 men in her family fight on the green, 2 grandfathers and a great-grandfather. Caroline, from 1850 until she died in 1912, worked on 2 causes: ending slavery, getting women the right to vote. In 1850, again, women couldn't vote. She used the power of petition, as documented in Mary Keenan's book. Was she successful in getting women the right to vote in 1850? No. In 1887, she made this banner. Hold it up, Katie. Turn it around. On the bottom of the banner, she has Abigail Harrington's revolutionary words: something must be done. This banner went to Boston in 1887. Did women earn the right to vote? No. In 1912, a younger woman carried the banner to Washington, D.C. in the first Women's March on Washington in 1912. Abigail's words went from where you're standing to the seat of government. And were we successful yet? No. Sadly, Caroline died before the 20th Amendment was passed. The monument includes these women's stories and so many more, and these are the stories that tell about our country, about our history, about what the fight for democracy really looked like. Mothers fought, passed it on to their daughters or their granddaughters. They didn't necessarily live to see that success. And we may not see the reparations necessary for what Trump is totally destroying in our country. We may die first, but we have to fight. These women fought for us, and we must fight for the children here today, for those who are not here at all yet. And we will. This erasure has led us to a country where women continue to earn less than men for equal work, where a president thinks it's okay to harass, grab, insult, and degrade women. Comedian Rosie O'Donnell left the country to escape his persecution. She's not a wimpy woman, but she had enough. His cronies are openly discussing taking away our right to vote. That's why I sound angry today. Literally, they think it's okay to talk about that out loud. Like their text groups talking about horrible racism, anti-Semitism out loud. They're not ashamed of how they are behaving. Unelected men scolded military men. I have people in my family of all genders who've served in the military. They sat there and scolded them. These men never served. The president never served. And they want to kick women out and people of color, and they're being successful at it. Worse, the Supreme Court has denied our constitutional and human rights to bodily autonomy by saying that it's okay for some states to deny us health care, including abortion, and now they want to take away contraception. Even as they are openly forcing women to have children, to become mothers, a lifetime commitment, they are forcing that. That is sexual slavery. While they are doing that, they are taking away every week another resource from our money that helps support children and the women who don't have resources to take care of them. They've taken away food subsidies, special education, public education, healthcare. If you have a child and there's nowhere for your child to be during the day, you can't go to work. You can't earn money. You can't get food to feed your children. There are now plenty of states in this country where it is simply not safe to be a woman or to have children. Women are not at liberty in America. And I am wrapped in the flag today, and I see lots of beautiful flags. It's our country. We decide what happens next. Thank you.
And that we are all part of all. Let them say that this was a time we desperately reached through this malignant maelstrom of electronic chaos, reached through the mad and maddening invocations of the soulless who profit from the poisonous pathology of our time, reached through and found others here with our own eyes, with our own hands, reaching back.
We're blessed in Lexington to have so many special people.
Say, we dissent. So when President Trump tried to end birthright citizenship, within hours we were there and we dissented. So when he tried to deny passports to trans and non-binary Americans, we dissented. And when he tried to censor medical research and school curriculums and block millions in scientific funded, we at the ACLU, we dissented. And when his masked agents grabbed Rumesa Ozturk outside her home, when they put her in an unmarked van and flew her to a for-profit prison in Louisiana, all for writing one single op-ed, we dissented. And if there's one thing we've learned in our 105 years at the ACLU, it's the power and the value and the absolute necessity of dissent. That's why, when faced with the abuse of federal power, with clear government repression, and with sheer injustice, we must continue to say, we dissent. And if you ever doubt the importance of dissent in this moment, ask yourself, why is the Trump administration trying so hard to crush it? His message right now is that if someone disagrees with his government, they will be punished. But here in Lexington, he has made a grave mistake, because we already know that when faced with a threat like that, dissent becomes more than our right. It becomes a duty. So I ask you, it's not your only duty. We have to channel our dissent into action. The time is now, because actions inspire courage. And courage is contagious. Your action gives others the courage to challenge the president's unlawful agenda. It gives courage to the ACLU clients who are right now challenging attempted power grabs in states like Texas and Missouri, where the president is redrawing voting maps to suit his own political fortunes. It gives courage to the brave citizens and people in DC, in Portland, and Chicago who don't want armed soldiers patrolling their streets. And it gives courage to our elected officials, to our judges, and to anyone in a position of power who feels compelled to dissent. So if you are not calling your representatives every day in Congress, in the State House, to voice your dissent, to urge them to take courageous action, now is a good time to start. Because remember, dissent is patriotic. And as I look at this crowd in Lexington today, I can't imagine a greater display of patriotism than the one I'm seeing now, and we've done this before, so we are going to do it again. I can't imagine a better way to represent our collective spirit here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and I can't imagine a better way to demonstrate true power, that we the people, so join us at the ACLU of Massachusetts. Go to our website at www.aclum.org. Join People Power, know your rights, and get out there and let's do this. Thank you all so much for your time. Yay!
Well, to quote Samuel Adams, what a glorious morning for America. And I'm told it's not too early to say that this is going to be one of the biggest days of protest in American history. I've been reliably informed by the Speaker of the House that this was going to be a Hate America rally filled with terrorists. What a disappointment you all are. I spent a lot of time on the battle green over the years. Growing up, I studied for a few weeks at Carey Library and then passed the fairly difficult test to become a guide here on the green. And so for several years in high school in the summer, I would wear that tricorn hat and tell the story of the people who gave their lives in what might well be called the first No Kings protest. The people who answered the midnight tolling of the bell in the belfry and repaired to this green in the cold and the dark to wait for the British to arrive, knowing that they faced the greatest military force in the world. In the fashion of our times, let me say those names: John Brown, Samuel Hadley, Caleb Harrington, Isaac Muzzy, Robert Monroe, Asahel Porter, Jonas Parker, and young Jonathan Harrington, who, at least as legend has it, was mortally wounded and crawled across the green towards his wife to die in her arms on the stoop of their house. They believed that they were able to govern themselves. Their king did not. He dispatched yet more troops to occupy our cities after the events of April 19th. But eventually, with much more sacrifice, their point was made, and democracy gained a foothold on this continent and on this earth. Two generations later, just down the road in Concord, Henry David Thoreau began his explorations of civil disobedience, the first experiment with the tool that the Minutemen did not possess. The development of this tool across the 20th century, from India to Selma, stands as one of the last century's great inventions, and it too has been used on this green. In May of 1971, the Vietnam Veterans Against the War, led by a young John Kerry, asked permission to bivouac on this green during a march from Concord to Boston. When permission was denied by the select board, they went ahead anyway, with the support of many Lexingtonians. I was here that night, and I remember it well. Small huddles of people illuminated by the blue and red lights on the top of police cars. Since I was 10, I eventually had to go home. My father stayed, and he was arrested with 457 others. It remains the largest mass arrest in Massachusetts history. And that was a small part of a successful movement that ended a war that had killed millions in the jungles of Southeast Asia, a nonviolent victory. Now we stand here at another remarkable turning point in American history. We have a president who, though duly elected, has decided to govern as a ruler. With the aid of a cowed Congress and a corrupted Supreme Court, he has ordered troops into peaceful cities, used masked secret police to arrest our neighbors on flimsy pretext, has upended the orderly work of Congress by canceling projects they had funded. He has favored cronies and their businesses to line his pockets. He has reduced our standing in the community of nations by imposing scattershot tariffs. And he has all but ended the scientific progress that has marked this nation since Benjamin Franklin. Our king, our new king, has decided that half his subjects are worthless. As his spokeswoman declared on Thursday, the opposition party in this country's main constituency are made up of Hamas terrorists, illegal aliens, and violent criminals. As his lickspittle Speaker of the House said earlier this week, if you come to this rally, I'll bet you'll see Hamas supporters, I bet you'll see Antifa types, I'll bet you'll see the Marxists on full display, the people who don't want to stand and defend the foundational truths of this republic. Sadly, for Mike Johnson and Carolyn Leavitt and Donald Trump, what we actually have here today are people who believe far more deeply than they in the foundational truths of this republic. We believe that the president is not a monarch, but instead a person elected to protect the constitutional arrangements under which we live. We believe he has no more business dispatching troops to Portland or Chicago or Los Angeles than King George had dispatching troops to Lexington. We believe that the racism and xenophobia lurking in every pronouncement of this president goes against the work of Americans across 250 years to broaden our democracy past its stunted beginnings. And so we will fight, non-violently, but without cease. We will continue to gather in the streets and on the town commons. We will do what we can to protect the right to vote, and we will exercise that franchise as long as it is granted us, and we will seize it back if it is taken away. We will come to the aid of our great colleges and universities, some of them just at the far end of Mass Ave, as long as they stand up to the regime. We will favor those companies and institutions that defy this new monarch, and we will boycott those who don't. If our ancestors could do without tea, then we can do without a new Tesla. We might even be able to do without Amazon Prime. We will try to raise each other's courage and support the families of those who were sent to jail, and we will honor those who lead us in this work, and we will do it in the best humor we can muster. Inflatable frogs to the fore. We don't know exactly how this fight will come out. Donald Trump has seized vast powers, and clearly he has no hesitation in using them. His ego, badly bruised by having to sit in court to answer for his crimes, demands retribution. And now he is hunting down the enemies of his lawless rule. He and his rooster of a defense secretary are attempting to remake the military, descendants of the Minutemen, in their own pathetic image. So this could be a long battle. But then the colonials had no idea how their fight would wind up either. They could not have foreseen Bunker Hill and Breeds Hill, Saratoga and Valley Forge, Brandywine and Yorktown. They could not have imagined when they were here that morning the Articles of Confederation or the Constitution. They just knew some basic truths that we also know. For instance, that humans are able to govern ourselves. We don't need a ruler who declares only I can fix it. And they knew that with too much power comes corruption, which we're now seeing on a scale that America has never known before. And they knew, crucially, that those who would divide our people instead of unite them are not fit to take part in our government. The British came this way on April 19th in 1775 to seize arms at Concord, but they wouldn't have minded also capturing John Hancock and Sam Adams, who had been spending the night at the parsonage on the Green. And so perhaps we should let Sam Adams, absolutely resolute patriot, have the final words. The liberties of our country, the freedoms of our civil constitution, are worth defending at all hazards. It is our duty to defend them against all attacks. We have received them as a fair inheritance from our worthy ancestors. They purchased them for us with toil and danger and expense of treasure and blood. It will bring a mark of everlasting infamy on the present generation, enlightened as it is, if we should suffer them to be wrested from us by violence without a struggle, or to be cheated out of them by the artifices of designing men. So let us act with the courage of our forebears, peacefully but resolutely. We did not ask for this moment to come upon us, but we must rise to the occasion, and this hallowed ground is as good a place as any to make that pledge.